Good day and welcome back. So this whole episode is going to be about the cockpit. I had some decisions to make. I had the kit part, and I also had different options for astronauts. And I also decided to pick up an extra set from Shapeways from 308 bits, which is more of a detailed cockpit. And I go ahead and I walk in this whole episode. I kind of walk through my options and what I do with them. And so I'm just going to go ahead and cut right into it, and let's take a look. All right, so let's talk about the cockpit of this thing. Now, there's two ways to look at this, right? We have the way it looked on the show, and then we have the way things look for an aesthetic or whatever. So theoretically, right, this is essentially what the Eagle cockpit looked like for the show, right? And we've seen stuff like this, so I'll put up a picture. Right, so yeah, those are the ones that with the astronaut helmets, but same deal, right? So when you look in through the window, right, you see, let me get some light on the subject. Here we go. Right, so you see the guy's face and you see the back, and you kind of don't see a whole lot of detail, which is it. And no, I'm not going to like this, so that's fine, right? It's okay that that's the way it is. But as I get to looking at this, right, and see those guys' faces and so forth, I don't know that that's the look I want. So I'm going to take a look at this for a second, and then what I did is I reached out to 308 bits, I think, or whatever. I'll put a link down below. It's in Shapeways. Here's a Shapeways shop. And there's actually a cockpit for this model in, essentially as it needs to be. So now this is where, the interesting thing about this, right, is if you look at the set, there's no way the set fits in this, right? So you have to accept that. So to make this look like the set and the cockpit, there's some creativity that you take. So like right now, if I were to take this and I could put this in as it is, and these astronaut heads would get cut off right about here, right? Because you see how high up the heads are there. These astronauts would be down deeper, which is what makes sense when they're sitting in those chairs. The thought process I have here, though, is I'm thinking what I'd like to do is actually build this in such a way that it looks like a cockpit without the pilot. So I'll snip out the astronauts, have just the seats. I'll throw in some seat belts, do the cockpit thing. Now, all of this, right, all that nice, real cool detail, that's not going to show. All right, so we've, as we look at this, right, that piece will be so far forward that it won't be visible in any way, shape, or form. So there's no point in, like if I put that right there, you can see that's roughly where that seat will end up being. It's not going to show. So there's no point, right? There's no point in having this particular piece here except for this. So we'll do it. So, but the painting I may or may not, I won't really need to worry about because of that. However, when I look in, right, I'm going to look, I know me, I'll look in and I'll see through there and I'll see cool cockpit with chairs, and that'll make me happy. So I'm thinking that's likely a path I just might go. This is where I got it from Shapeways. It was, not too many shekels. And I like what it looks like. So if I really wanted to, right, I could put lights in here and light it up so it could do that. But again, I'm not going to do lighting because I kind of think, well, it's kind of overdone and there really wasn't a whole lot of lighting in the show. And I'm content with not lighting it, right? Because, yeah, enough said. So this is, obviously I'm going to leave this the way it is. I'm not going to break it and toss it out. I'm going to set it aside, and then I'm going to do up this one, and I will see how this goes together and how that sets in here. And I suspect I can probably just put these pieces in there anyway, even with those. And, we'll see how that goes. And then I'll make a decision. But I suspect I'm going to go with this. Now, also added to that is he also had some miniatures that were, like figures. So I did grab a couple of those as well. Right? And these guys here are them. They're walking without their helmets. And, this is how they come from Shapeways. So I will paint them up and we'll see how they look. But, the whole concept, I mentioned the concept that I wanted to do a small diorama, or at least scenic base. These guys will go on there. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my direction right now. I wanted to talk about that anyway. So we'll go ahead and get cracked into our next step. And just because I really wanted to get a look at, or at least be able to show off the detail, you can see the detail that's in here. Now, the concern I have is a little bit of the layers in there. So I'm curious if that's better, or if the right answer is to snip those off. I don't know. So I will paint that up, but the detail on the astronauts is fantastic. The detail on the control panels are, let me get that to focus. There we go. The detail on the control panels are wonderful. Like I said, just a little concern with the detail on with the layer lines on the back wall, but that may not be really relevant. We'll see. I like how sharp they are, right? So they look better. As you can see, though, you can probably tell the astronauts are up on posts there. So, that obviously won't be sitting that high. The chairs also are on posts, and I think they're supposed to be set right down in there, so they'd be even lower, which is appropriate for, what the set looked like. Now, with that said, let's also take a look at these guys. Now that they're not hit by there we go, come on. Now that they're not hit by now that they are hit with primer, thank you very much, mouth, let's work. You can get a nice look at the faces, and there's actually some really nice detail there. I mean, that one almost looks like Victor Bergman. It's got too much hair. I don't know. I'm wondering I might go that route. So these look cool. I like those. I also see some layer lines in those, but you know what? Those will actually go in with the look of the suit. So that actually is not that bad. So the paint will cover those up fairly well. That helmet is empty, so it looks that way. So it looks appropriate. So yeah, these are going to look nice. I will definitely have them walking around the Eagle in the scenic base. Jury's out on that. Jury's out on the cockpit, but we will see where we go with that. All right, so let's take one last look at this cockpit, or at least the cockpit options. So this is the kit piece that comes with this, and I originally thought that these could be just put on the chairs, but it turns out these are actually meant specifically to go over the figures. And I noticed these parts right here. See that little emblem right there? Now there was another emblem here that looks to have broken off in the moving around of things, but that's okay. So those are those pieces are the ones that are your seat belts for the two pilots, for I guess for Koenig and Carter for me. And that's what that would look like, right? That's what that would come with. The other option was this extra set that I got. And what I ended up doing was doing what I normally do to make cloth seat belts. I just basically took some paper, painted the color of the seat belt, and then CA glued them in place with some detail paint. The other thing that I've done is I did do the switches. Essentially, this is a black gray, and then I did a quick dry brush to bring up the high level detail. Then went back and just with a fine tip brush, I think I have it right here. I think I do have it right here. We go. With this guy. Oops, my apologies. Come on. There we go. So, and then with a, come on, focus where I want you to focus. Thank you. Then with a fine tip brush, all I did was just touch these guys with white, red, and orange to get a little bit of color. Also went back with black to fill in the screens in here. Now, this stuff is most likely not going to show. If I recall, when I was looking at it through the windows, I might just get a look at the angle, but I don't believe so, because the windows are at like a slant. Actually, here. See how the windows are sort of slanted just a touch? I think they just might see the bottom tip of that, but not enough. So I didn't put a whole lot of effort into that. But in the end, the look of this and this is what I want to go with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that together. And you can see I already put the transfer here for Eagle 2. By the way, the decal set comes with the Eagle 2. And then the other transfer set I got, and this is the extra set, whatever, for this, for the more details and stuff, has other details for the different types of eagle, right? So like for the lab pod, you actually have this, but what I don't see on them is another one for Eagle 2 or second season, right? So that's what the door panel looks like for second season. And for the first season, you had those, right? So this is where that transfer came from. But you can see you had these. So if you wanted to do first season a number other than Eagle 2, you're going to need to print your own or paint or do whatever. Because you'll also see like the number font is different between season 1 and season 2. Anyway, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So this is the cockpit I'm going to go with. And it's just a matter, provided I don't have a problem putting it in, which I don't believe I should, because it should fit. Where's this guy? Right. I had it right here. So this does fit exactly like the other one. And I have test fit this inside the nose cone of the beak like 50 times. But I believe it'll look good. Again, I'm not going to light it. It's just, that's just not where I'm going to go with this one. Maybe if I do, the other one, I will, but not this one. With that said, that's the cockpit. And now to take a look at some other things, right? Okay, so with that, right, that's it. This video is a little bit longer than I anticipated, and it was just on the cockpit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off now. As like I said, I'm going to go with the 308 bits version, if for no other reason, just for my own mental, aesthetic. That's what I'm going to like when I see it on the table. I know that a lot of people have their own preferences for what's appropriate for a model like this. For me, it's what I like when I see it on the table. So I'm going to go with that, and next episode we'll go ahead and go through the next steps that we have to do to get this thing done. So I hope that this video was helpful, entertaining, or at least maybe put you to sleep if that's what you use my videos for. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'm open to constructive criticism. Feel free. That's the whole message is down below thing. Until next time, thanks again, and happy modeling.